What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning back in with me. Let's get straight into it. Well, I'm feeling pretty good. Actually, I'm feeling pretty blessed. I made it through another hurricane. I've lost count at this point. Prayers go out to the people in Southwest Florida. And God bless the people in the Carolinas where the storm is heading now. But with me surviving another hurricane, I feel like my work must continue. And I want to get to a heavy subject right now. And this is for the real Black P.O.Es, the intelligent minds, who can handle a real conversation. Blacks shouldn't be police officers? I disagree with that. And let me tell you why. One of the solutions to stopping some of these unarmed men and women getting killed by police is to have black police officers in the black community protecting and serving. That's what you need to have. You need to have people who are familiar with the culture, who can relate with the people. And you don't need to have individuals who are terrified in the community. That's what you have a lot of times, believe it or not. A lot of times when you have people outside of the culture, so-called protecting and serving, they're doing police work. They're there just to lock people up. You understand? They're terrified of the community they're serving, and they don't give a damn about the community. Now, notice I'm using the word protecting and serving instead of the word policing. I think another solution to stopping the senseless killings of black men and women is to stop the policing and start protecting and serving. And let's hit on this point. You know, the Black P.O.E ain't gonna lead us out. How did police officers get started in the first place? A police department was started during slavery days to bring back runaway slaves. So slavery is over, but we still need police officers, right? Is that what you're telling us? No, you need individuals protecting and serving the community. You need individuals who are protecting when they're catching rapists, when they're catching killers, when they're catching armed robbers, when they're catching child molesters, when they're catching kidnappers. You understand? When they're catching pedophiles. You need somebody who's going to do that. You going to do it? Are you trained to do it? Huh? So you need somebody protecting the community. Now here comes the service part. This is what you need. You need less policing and more serving. Give you an example. If a police officer has a 40-hour-a-week schedule, at least 10 to 15 of those hours need to be dedicated to community service. Community service needs to look like this. You have police officers that has basketball leagues, football leagues, working into state-of-the-art community centers. I'm going to keep talking about these state-of-the-art community centers we need to see. Because I grew up in the 80s when community centers were still around. How they talk about the after-school programs? Well, that's where they took place at, in the community centers. But by the 90s, I know at least in Nashville, all the community centers was gone. That's where you can go learn wrestling, learn karate, learn how to swim, learn all type of skills. But now we need community centers that's set up for the 21st century. So you need to have programs in there after school when it comes to tutoring, especially math tutoring, reading tutoring. You need to have all type of games in there, have activities for the kids to do. You also need to have mental health in these state-of-the-art community centers. And I've seen a police officer serving in the 21st century giving 10 to 15 hours to these community centers. Not in uniform. He could be a coach. You understand? He could be a tutor. He could teach people how to do self-defense. But 10 to 15 hours a week out of his schedule needs to be dedicated to serving the community. And here's something else they need to do. All police officers need to serve locally, where they live. I can take a step further, even where they grew up at. Because have you noticed most police officers from out of town? A lot of them do not serve in the communities they grew up in. But a police officer should be required to live within a 10 or 15-mile radius of the area he protects and serves. And he needs to be brought back to be a beat cop as well. We need police just walking the streets, getting to know the community, helping old ladies bring their groceries inside the house. See a young man working on a car. Hey, you need some help with that? That's protecting and serving. I'm talking about real solutions. But why aren't people doing these things? And it seems like it's more profit made in having the solution ignored and have the problems continue. How many times have you heard about community centers disappearing in cities like Chicago and the violence goes up because the kids have no after school programs? But I really want you to think about the things that I listed as solutions to a new 21st century black officer in the black community. Not police in the black community, but no, we don't need a police officer like the one off Boys in the Hood trying to show off for the other cop and being extra hard on his own kind. No, we don't need that. We need a true individual that's going to protect and serve. If you had black police officers who really cared about the community, who live within a 10 or 15-mile radius of the area of the beat, who focus on protecting and serving, 10 to 15 hours of their time is spent in a community center, a state-of-the-art community center that's provided by the city, state, or federal government. What would our community start to look like then? You have individuals in the community who really care. And you be like, oh yeah, this officer so-and-so, you see him in his police car. But you normally see him in the community center, playing basketball or being a coach. And of course, I want to hear your opinion on this. Am I off on this? Am I right? You think I'm wrong? What's the alternative? Have no black police officers? We go solve our own murders? We go solve our own robberies, kidnappings, catch serial killers? Nah, you can't do that. But like I said, we need more protecting and serving and less policing. And I think that would solve a lot of the issues that we're having when it comes to black men and women losing their lives with encounters with the police. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. One team.